I swear, every time we're with Jonathan, we're getting in something different. Fancy.
Fancy schmancy.
So, Jonathan, why are we in the Camaro today?
Well, one, you wanted to go for a ride in it.
Yeet.
Two, we got quite a few problems. Get your seatbelt on. We got quite a few problems with the 350Z. Turns out, after taking it to a local automotive shop, they said that it would be about, what, a grand, $1,100.
It was $1,000 to replace the rack and pinion because apparently it's leaking.
And then on top of that, they were saying that it'd be about $450 for the
AC compressor.
And then they were trying to tell me that it was going to need to be taken completely apart to find out all the problems with it, with the wiring, because it could be this, it could be that, blah, 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 all this bull crap.
AKA a bunch of bullshit, because he has a power steering leak, but it's pretty slow, and even then the shop owner wasn't very sure that it was the rack and pinion leaking. And then they quoted him on the AC compressor, yet it holds Freon and there's no leak, it's just not very cold. So something tells me that it's just the condenser. If the condenser was stopped up or something like that, it wouldn't be cooling very well. But it holds Freon and it does get cool. So.
And then on top of that, of course, we sat there and we did a little bit of online shopping to find all the parts they were talking about. Rack and pinion, whole setup, compressor, and literally just about everything else we would need.
Like $700
at most.
Yeah, like $600 or $700.
So forget that.
So that is why today's lesson is about doing your own work on your own stuff. Man, these things are just absolutely worthless.
Well, I mean, when you compare it to the size of the windshield.
Okay, look, I mean, I understand. Like, it's a big car. But like, you'd have to be like 7 foot for these things to even be like useful. Like, I would have to sit all the way at the very top of the car just to make it to where I could actually be blocked by that.
I mean, it's doing a pretty good job for me.
I'm not that tall of a guy. I'm about 6 foot, almost 6'2" or so. That's just pitiful.
Pump the seat up. It should have it. Should.
All the orange accents in this car.
Inferno orange overload. What's up?
What year model is this?
I believe it's a 2011, 2010.
Alright, so we're back here at Jonathan's. The last time you guys saw this car in the last video, it had black headlights and it was a lot dirtier. But we polished out the headlights
as best we could
last weekend. And they look good, but they started to get like oxidized again. So I told Jonathan to order some clear headlight tint and we would polish them back out again because I have a orbital polisher that would make those look mint, and then put the tint over it to preserve it. And then he washed the car, and so it shines a whole lot better than it did. And the wheels look pretty good on this car, but
for knockoffs.
What's going on, everybody? Today, new fuel pump hanger came in a lot sooner actually than I was expecting it to. So we are about to put that in the car. First we have to take this one out, and I'm going to show you guys something. It has been leaking and I can't tell from where, but anyway, you can see it's wet with some residual residue on it of fuel, and you can tell under the car that it's been leaking as well. Not entirely sure where. The top of it's covered, so that means it's getting shot and sprayed from one of these hoses right here, and I'm not really sure which one. But regardless, we are about to take all this out and then compare it to the new one. So stay tuned. I hope you guys are as tired of seeing this part come uninstalled as much as I am.
It says.
Alright everybody, so we're going to give you a run-through lesson on how the fuel system in the IS300 works. This is the one that was out of my car. This was supposed to be attached, but it was dangling. This hose also was supposed to be attached right here, but it was not connected. So not only was my car running out of gas at like 180 miles or so because it was only pulling gas from one side of the tank, but it was also leaking because of this fitting that we have on the fuel hanger. So the problem here is that you have to tap this for a return fitting and then run this hose. And then by the idea of how the Venturi system in this car works, the Venturi system, by the way, is like a law of how pressures and stuff create suction. So the gas comes in through here and then uses the force of the gas flowing through it to pull suction from the other side of the tank. And that's how the saddle tank gets gas across from one side to the other. And that's also why, because it was disconnected and there was nothing flowing through it, which is why I was running only one half of the tank and running out of fuel a lot earlier, and thus my gauge being inaccurate. So anyway, all this aside, this is how it's properly supposed to be set up. This is the Aristo hanger. So a lot of people argue that the return hose here, if you're going to drill and tap for a return fitting, has to be attached through the jet valve. Well, apparently it doesn't. It literally just dumps into the tank, like in the Aristo system. The Aristo also uses a saddle tank. So, I mean, the systems are exactly the same, except the Aristo has a fuel pressure regulator on the fuel rail, whereas the IS300 didn't. But you'd also see that there's one here on this as well. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but it must regulate for a lot lower pressure than the IS300 one does. So,
it's still leaking.
Anyway, aside from that, this is the setup that we need to be using. And so all we're going to do is swap my pump into this one, put this in there, and then we should be good to go. Okay, so once you get your clip here wired in and connected, I swapped over the hanger from the IS300, or not the hanger, the floater from the IS300 into it. This is the floater from the Aristo. They look a little bit different. This one is straight and the IS300 one has a bend in it. And then other than that, you should be good to go to just put it into the car. Alrighty, so everything is buttoned back up. IS300 floater has been installed. Notice this one's already tapped with a return fitting, and that's why we did this swap, because this one is factory. And with this setup, everything should run perfect, hopefully with no leaks as well. Alright, so we're going to get gas now to make sure that it's not leaking, but I don't think it is, so.
And try not to blow up.
Okay, so far the gauge is reading accurately. AFRs are perfect, no leaks. I think it really did fix our problems. I think I was dropping fuel pressure with the leak, because in boost I'm seeing perfect AFRs, out of boost I'm seeing perfect AFRs, and cruising I'm seeing perfect AFRs. So here's hoping that we fixed it. Gonna get some gas now, pulling in now. Alright, so we just got gas. It only costs like 12 bucks to fill up. Filled up like 4 gallons. So the whole tank is full. It's drawing from the other side. And got some big ass drinks.
$1.29.
So yeah, now we're gonna go get something to eat. And yeah. That's my grandfather's 31 Chevrolet with a 350 in it, I think, custom built, with a whole bunch of damn mix and match parts on it. But it hauls ass though, and it sounds pretty cool. So yeah, and they're supposed to be doing some more work to it too. So it'd be cool to see me race that thing on my channel, see which one's faster, because my grandfather sure enough talks shit about it.
You ain't gonna fit. Watch your head.
All right.
Still making a damn YouTube video?
Yep. I really don't fit in here very well.
But you fit.
Got Jonathan here about to work on his first automotive task. Going to try to change that leaky power steering hose right there. See what happens. Man, we got a hurricane coming toward us. So, yesterday we found out that Jonathan's rack and pinion needs to be replaced. It is leaking pretty badly. And other than that, I don't really think there's anything else really to talk about today. Other than Hurricane Nate is headed toward us. It's now a hurricane, category 2 as of right now, but they say it's still growing and it is supposed to make landfall in Mississippi. Let's see, today is Saturday. It is 11:59 in the morning. It is supposed to make landfall tonight around 6 or 7, I think, as of right now is what they're saying. So, I don't know, we'll see. Another cool thing that I just noticed is that after fixing the fuel hanger, the car doesn't smell like gas after doing a pull. So that's great. It doesn't smell like exhaust or anything, so that's awesome.